I was trying to get my thing in the right place. Okay, so England tries to be absolute part two. Where we left off, Oliver Cromwell, if you remember, good old Oliver, he is Lord Protector of England. Yeah? He dies. He's not Lord Protector very long. He dies. Okay? When he dies, oh my gosh, what are we gonna do? Well, Charles I had a son. Remember? Charles I's son is Charles II. Makes it easy to remember. What happened to Charles I? He got his little happy head cut off. For doing what? Because that matters. Trying to dismiss Parliament. Okay, so can you do that according to the Constitution, the Magna Carta? No. The Magna Carta says there has to be king and parliament in charge of England. That's it. Okay. Whenever Oliver Cromwell dies, England goes through something called the Restoration. And in all honesty, it's not this easy or this clean cut. Oliver Cromwell's kid does become like the next Lord Protector, but it doesn't last. Parliament comes in as like, okay, no, we need to put Charles II on the throne. So Charles II is restored to the English monarchy. The Restoration is when the monarchy is restored. Okay? Okay. Charles II doesn't love Parliament. They killed his father. For doing what? Being king? According to Charles II, yes. He doesn't really work well with others, period. Not just Parliament, with just others. Charles II had some drinking issues. Charles II had some, he liked prostitutes issues. Charles II just had some issues. But again, I mean, like, to go through the trauma that he went through when his dad was killed, I get it. But, Freya! Sorry. She was like trying to get up the fence to eat a squirrel. Okay, anyway. That's my dog, by the way. Okay, so anyway, Charles II. Before we actually talk about him, though, do you see any Louis XIV influence here? Because you should see a lot. The wig. I told you it was just a style. Okay? I told you. Okay, so anyway, Charles II. There's a whole lot of stuff that happens while he's king. Honestly, he isn't physically behind most of it. Parliament does most of it. We have big deal colonies at this time. Charleston. We have some big deal colonies that are set up in his name. There's a lot of just tension between he and Parliament. He does get mad and dismisses Parliament. But does he really mean it? Well, Parliament doesn't kill him over it, so probably not. There's just all kinds of issues. Okay? When he dies, and there's a lot of drama with how he died. Some accounts, I'm trying to think of them all. I can't remember them all right off the top of my head. Some of the accounts say poison. It's possible. Some of the accounts say, is it kidney? Some kind of kidney, I think, issue. He was a drunkard, and so that could have played a role. He also is rumored to have used mercury for some things. Yeah, mercury is poisonous, you guys. So, I mean, if that's true, then that probably didn't do great things to his health. So, I mean, he's just kind of a mess, bless his heart. He dies. He believes in absolute rule. He believes in divine right. He believes that his father was murdered, okay? But he does get mad and dismisses Parliament sometimes. But again, it's not like taken seriously by Parliament, okay? There is another problem. When he dies, there's no heir to the throne. That's a lie. That's a lie. Oh my gosh. When he dies, he doesn't have a son. This was another situation where he and his wife had a whole bunch of miscarriages. No son, no kids. So what do we do? Well, he has a brother. Parliament really didn't want his brother to take over as king. His brother is James the Second. James the Second. Okay. James the Second is a hardcore Catholic, and he's going to let you know it. He's not going to be quiet about it. He's not. This is his brother, right? James, Charles II's brother. So his father also, Charles I, was murdered, according to him also. So understand that background. The background, the point of view is important. Otherwise, you don't understand why he just kind of hates him. Okay. But he's a hardcore Catholic. Okay. He's going to have major issues during his reign with Anglicans, with Protestants. They don't want him in charge. Charles II played the Anglican game. Right before his death, he was admitted into the Catholic Church, but he played the Catholic game. Anglican game. He said, "Oh yeah, I'm Anglican. I'm Protestant." Well, James II doesn't. He says, "I'm Catholic. I like being Catholic. I'm not going to be Anglican because that's of the devil. That's it. It's the way it is. That's it." Oh yeah, and divine right is real. Absolutism is God given, and I do what I want. Guys, Parliament's not going to let this go on. James II pushes the idea of divine right and absolutism, the idea that he doesn't have to follow, the Magna Carta, the idea that God has chosen him, so he's going to do what God says, and the idea that we need to get rid of Protestantism, the Anglican Church, or we're all going to go to hell. Parliament says, enough. See, since he's Charles II's brother, he comes to power older, like later in life, right? James II already has a daughter, Mary. Mary is already married to a guy named William. William of Orange. There's a squirrel on the ground. Freya! I really am afraid that she's going to eat one day. I don't know what to do if that happens. Okay. Anyway, William of Orange. Orange is his kingdom. Okay. Let me move my head. This is William on the left and Mary on the right. Every year I have kids that are so rude about Mary. I know she's not gorgeous. Be nice, you guys. I think this painting's funny. Look at their body language. I think it's funny. But Mary is royalty, and she's already married to William. So here's what happens. England has what they call, or what is called, the Glorious Revolution. If a revolution is a change, and we think of a revolution being like a change in government, how can there be a glorious one? There's always going to be massive death, it's just terribleness, right? Not in this case. The reason this is called the Glorious Revolution is because this is the bloodless revolution in England. Bloodless. Basically, James is told, step down as king. Or we'll do what we did to Charles I, because by dismissing us, you have. Did I tell you that he dismissed Parliament? I don't know if I did or not. He did. Parliament says you have committed treason. We've already set that precedent with your father. James II steps down. And his daughter and her husband, are allowed to take the throne of England. However, Parliament says, look, James, we will allow your daughter and her husband to become king and queen of England, right? But here's the thing. They got to understand how we work. England then writes, Parliament, with their help, okay, with William and Mary. Parliament writes the English Bill of Rights. Okay, whenever, William and Mary become king and queen. The English Bill of Rights does several things, okay, but what matters for our story, publicly, England declares to everybody what their government is. It lays it out. The government of England is not absolute. Other countries may be, but we're not other countries. We're England. We're not absolute. We are limited. Our kings have limited power. And the official long name, instead of just limited monarchy, sometimes you'll see it called a limited constitutional monarchy, because the king is limited by Parliament and by Constitution. In this case, the Magna Carta and the English Bill of Rights. It also says you cannot dismiss Parliament. It is illegal. You cannot get rid of Parliament, because our government is a two-branch system. King, Parliament, they rule together. And this document starts allowing some of the, I wasn't sure if I put it on there or not, starts allowing some of the middle classes to have some rights also. Up to this point, only nobles can do anything. But now the upper middle class can have some rights. They can do some basic voting for Parliament members and stuff. Now, Parliament still has to be noble men, but middle class men can vote. Ooh, is that a step toward allowing universal male suffrage? What is suffrage? You should know from the 8th grade. Voting. Okay. It's a step. And that leads us straight to a change in how people are going to start thinking about the government and economics and social stuff and all kinds of good stuff. Okay, starting the English philosophes tomorrow. If I can find, it's right here. Bye.